Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Good morning. It is Monday morning here in Texas. I was on my way to work listening to a little bit of the radio and decided I wanted to share a couple of things with you. I wanted to share one thing with you. Back when I was driving around all to God's nowhere working for a job, it got kind of lonely in the car. So I started listening to a lot of talk radio, and that parlayed into listening to podcasts and comedy and all this other stuff. And what I wanted to share with you today is something that I think you might like. If you're the kind of person who likes true crime and really gritty stuff, serial killers, cult, all this kind of stuff, I know it's kind of heavy and kind of different than what we normally talk about here, but I want you to check this shit out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like to laugh, if you like looking at the lighter side of terrible things, have I got something for you. We are going to talk about Last Podcast on the Left. This is a podcast by three very, very talented gentlemen. There is Ben Kissel, the everyman, the you and the me, the one listening to all this stuff for the first time and having real reactions. They don't really tell him anything other than the subject, what they're going to talk about. Does no research. He just listens to them and kind of asks the questions that you and I would ask as if we were hearing this shit for the first time. Then we have the funny man, the wild man, Henry Zebrowski. This redhead, gorgeous man is very funny. He likes to yell, he likes to do accents, and he likes to eat a lot of edibles, from what I understand. And his humor hits me 100%. I think he's hilarious. I've never laughed as hard as I have of him doing his Charles Ng accent, which is very, very racist, but very, very funny. I was driving, laughing so hard that I cried. It was great. And then the person putting all this together, Marcus Parks, he's the straight man to everybody. He's the one who is doing all the hard research, having to tell the difficult stories. Him and Henry, they do a lot of the main research along with their intern. I'm going to give you a couple of things to get you started. So if you're having a little bit of difficulty on your commute, you want to listen to something a little bit different, a little bit heavy, but a little bit funny, I definitely recommend. If you are into the serial killer bit, there's two ones that I'd like to get you off started with. There is the one about the toy box killer. This one starts at episode 53. It's a little difficult to hear. They read some letters that he wrote about some very difficult situations, but they always make fun of the person and they never glorify him. They never make him out to be a saint or anything bigger than what he was. They make these people out to be the monsters and they have a lot of fun at their expense. The other one that I recommend, this is the one that I listened to, the very first episode that I listened to, and this was Leonard Lake and Charles Ng. This starts at episode 203. This is a great introduction. It's a more or lesser known serial killer, but they go through it, they give it a couple of episodes. Episodes are about 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half each, and they are definitely worth it. They are pretty fucking hilarious, and that'll be a really good place to start. If you are interested in more of just a scenario, something that happened, something that affected you. When I was in high school, there was an event that happened that kind of changed everything and really put in the public eye a terrible tragedy, and that was Columbine. They go through this with a very respectful hand before they get into some of the more ridiculous things, including some conspiracy theories and things like that. They do the same thing with the 9/11. It might be a little bit of a difficult episode to listen to, especially if you live through that. That starts at episode 178, and I recommend giving that a listen because that's whew. If you are interested in more of the culty side of things, there is a exhaustive series, and I use that term lovingly. There's not anything they gloss over for Jonestown. Starting episode 300, they just did this a few months ago. They really get into Jonestown and kind of what made that happen. If you're interested at all in cults and how they go from a man who kind of wanted the best of things, just wanted all this attention, to what it was and responsible for the death of hundreds and hundreds of people. If that's your thing, listen to it. I listened to it. It was great. And of course, they're going to make accents and jokes along the way. Never joke about the incident, but always joke about and make fun of the person who caused it. It's really funny. And what they're doing right now, they're talking about Marcus David Chapman, the assassin of John Lennon. They're talking about the deification of John Lennon and how they kind of bring that down and how they make this man seem to be something that he wasn't. Lennon, not Chapman. So there's a lot of stuff in here. They have stuff on the occult, aliens, Satan, Ed Gein, Jeffrey Dahmer, Casey Anthony, all of them. If you're interested in any kind of true crime stuff, I know there's a lot of you out there. When I grew up, my mom there was never a day that went by where my mother did not have some kind of a true crime book on her nightstand. things from Eileen Wuornos, the Mendez brothers. All this stuff was burned into my brain, along with growing up with a ton of horror movies, which I absolutely love. It kind of all mixed together. Growing up movies like Copycat, things like that. And it really made me enjoy these things. I listen to these. These guys are really, really funny. They're my favorite podcast. When a new episode comes out, I jump on it immediately. They're starting to do 2 episodes a week. Normally they do 1, but if you've never listened to them, there's a lot to catch up on. Take a smaller episode where they talk about more current things. For example, the chick from Smallville in the sex cult, they got her too. So if this is your bag, ladies and gentlemen, check this shit out. If it's not your bag, no. But I hope you and yours are well, and hail yourselves. Hail Geen. Magustalations.